This clip is brought to you by SaveWithConrad.com.
Well, he's replacing the role with Jerry Lawler in mid-'98. What was it about Cole that didn't work during that time period? Or was it that just Lawler would be a better fit? I mean, I think we can all say you and Lawler were the home run team. Do you remember anything about that transition there?
Say that. What transition was it?
He would leave the booth and Lawler would step in mid-1998.
Oh, the three-man team.
Yeah.
That we had.
Cole moves his way out and Lawler steps in.
Well, what do you need to know about that? Look who you're talking about.
Yeah, I mean, Hall of Famer, Jerry the King Lawler.
Well, first of all, Cole was going to be the second or third wheel in that three-man team at best. And that's not where they wanted him to be positioned as a backup, where he's walking on the sideline carrying his clipboard wearing a visor. Okay. But you're talking about Jerry Lawler here. And arguably, you know, one of the greatest to ever do that job, ever, in any generation, for any company. So I thought that was a no-brainer. It separated Cole from being in the shadows of everybody, where at some point in time he's going to get a more defined gig, and he's put Lawler back on television, which always works. Or at least it did with he and I. We just had that natural chemistry that we were blessed to have. And but yeah, anyway, yeah, I think it's a smart move, getting Michael out of that cluster and putting Lawler out there where he could be Lawler.
Well, JR, you mentioned it earlier. Cole would then step in for you after your bout with Bell's palsy in December of '98 and becomes the voice of Raw with you producing him. There's a famous clip in the movie Beyond the Mat where they're showing the footage of Royal Rumble 1999 match between Rock and Foley, where you're in the back essentially doing commentary in Cole's ear, and Cole is repeating what you're saying to the audience. Was there not a lot of trust in Cole in this position, and that's the setup that Vince wanted?
No, that was me.
Okay.
Had nothing to do with Vince. You're looking for shit here. You ain't going to find it on that one. But you're good effort. Conrad should be proud of you. You're trying to find some folks. He's working hard to get you guys some dirt. That's how I produced him.
Okay.
And sometimes it requires more than a sound bite. When you work with somebody long enough, you give them a 2 or 3 word sound bite, and that's good enough to get them back in the road, the lane you want to be in. Sometimes because of circumstances in the ring and the creative, where we are creatively, especially with two valued talents that we're in the ring, you want to make sure you don't let the guy, your guy you're producing, misstep. So then you give him a little bit more. But I'm not yelling and screaming at him. Say it, goddamn it, say it, you son of a bitch. You know, nothing. Right. But no, it was never anything. Well, JR, just produce this kid as best you can. Let's just get by it until you get back. Sure.
Okay. Why Cole over someone like Kevin Kelly, JR, in that spot, do you think? Why did they make the shift to him instead of Kevin?
You know, I don't know. Kevin does a great job with New Japan. And
he does.
Yeah, I think he just does terrific. That's a hard gig, man. It's a hard gig. And I remember in the very beginning, Kevin didn't get started off with such a good foot. And I think it was because there was some, and he could probably, if he watches the show, and I think he does watch our show. At least I hope he does. So he will now if I mention him.
It'll be tagged on social media.
Yeah, oh yeah. That's fine.
Yeah.
But I think he came in and there was a little bit of a issue, and that may not be a good word, but a little bit of a discussion about how they were going to spell Kelly.
Huh.
And somehow or another, it got in the pipeline of conversation where it went back to Kevin Dunn to get a rulings because the studio didn't know how, they didn't know copyright stuff or, intellectual property, what's all this stuff.
Yeah.
What was
trademark, all that stuff.
Trademark, all that stuff. Yeah. So anyhow, Kevin Dunn had to intervene over how Kevin Kelly's last name was going to be spelled. And I don't know that Kevin Kelly ever really got out from under that thumb. But I always liked his work, and a lot of people there liked his work. But sometimes, you know, he could be his own worst enemy, as I'm sure he would agree on these. We all were young, full of P and V, man. So he was just that. He could be a little bit. We want to say, hey, Kevin, chill, exhale. Don't live and die on all this bullshit. And so I think he was he made a mistake there.
Okay.
He should just let it go. Who gives a shit how your last name's spelled? Who cares? So and then Cole had that look. Cole was smaller. Kevin was probably 2 or 3 inches taller than Michael. I'm guessing. So they knew that Michael could do play-by-play, or he could do interviews, and he'd fit in physically. Kevin was a little bit larger for that role of interviewer. You didn't see me doing a lot of interviews. I did some big interviews, sit downs and things like that, but on the regular basis, no, it's not my thing. So that's how I would say that. But you know, Kevin did a really good job. He just went afoul the wrong people, it seemed like.
Mm.
Hey, it's Conrad Thompson. Thanks for checking out the podcast here on YouTube. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and the notifications bell so you get a notice anytime we upload some new content. And go save yourself some money right now. If you're in a 30-year loan or you have credit card debt, it's not a matter of if I can save you money. It's a matter of how much. Find out right now for free at SaveWithConrad.com.